The old school method of supersetting opposing muscle groups is one that originated even before Arnold and the days of pumping iron. Legend has it that while training in Germany, Arnold had been inspired by the Mr. Europe and Mr. Universe at the time. They'd been using the superset technique of moving back and forth from one chest exercise immediately to one back exercise without rest. When learning that this was a technique that they were using to get more work done in less time, and that it also resulted in some serious pumps, Arnold, in Arnold fashion, took it to the extreme, pairing every chest exercise with a back movement, supersetting bench presses with chin-ups, incline presses and rows. In doing so, Arnold found that the pec muscles will be filled with blood from a set of pressing, and then pumping the lats immediately after, the entire upper body resulted in a pump that's just not achievable with a typical one body part per workout session training style. And while there's no disputing the fact that antagonistic supersets produce a greater pump across the entire upper body, many people refuse to use this style of training today, as the argument goes, pairing two hard exercises together, or two large muscle groups like the chest and the back, would greatly hinder performance. And while I agree that that can be an issue, it's never a good idea to look at training methods in black and white. And while there are definitely antagonistic exercise pairings that don't work very well together, there are some that are extremely effective. One method I personally use to get the most out of opposing muscle group supersets is to pair one demanding exercise that requires a high degree of stabilization and effort with a less demanding compound, a movement with more stability, or a basic isolation exercise. A great example, and one pairing that I will regularly use, is a pressing movement for chest followed by an isolation movement for the lats. The heavy compound chest press comes first. Whether that's a flat or inclined dumbbell or barbell press, you do these when you're fresh and you can give 100% effort and concentration to the set. And then, immediately after, you move to a less demanding lat exercise, like the cable or machine pullover. This is a movement that requires a relatively low load, has assistance from the machine or cable, and the focus is not on moving heavy weight from A to B, but to squeeze and really engage the target muscle in the lift. A poor antagonistic superset would be trying to move directly from a bench press to a barbell or T-bar row. That can absolutely pose an intensity or quality of work issue with the following set of rows after a heavy bench press. They're just two very demanding exercises, and these will be ones that are better suited when paired separately. In that case, I also like to pair a heavy compound for back, and then follow it up with an isolation for chest by starting with a barbell row and then going immediately into a dumbbell fly, cable fly, or pec deck. Again, the stabilization and relatively low load allows you to focus on the second exercise in the superset, without the first one negatively impacting performance. So my stance on antagonistic supersets is that they're an excellent tool to increase pumps, get more work done in less time, and give you the ability to cram more total work into your training, without it affecting performance on the later sets of training. But you have to be smart about pairing exercises together. My recommendation is always pair a heavy compound first with a less demanding movement second. This is exactly the way I program antagonistic training in my 5-day old school mass game program. On the days that are primarily heavy compound lifts, supersets are not used. But the days where we focus more on isolation and higher rep pump movements, chest and back are carefully paired together with exercises that complement each other, not take away from overall performance. If you're looking to incorporate these supersets in your training, I highly recommend you follow these guidelines. And if you want to use my exact training program that was designed specifically to build muscle using these proven old school bodybuilding training methods, I highly recommend you check out my 5-day old school mass game program down below. And as always, if you want to see more of the best original bodybuilding content just like this, make sure to hit subscribe.